Hello. So as a recap, last week I mentioned that I was doing something with procedural geometry to make tile textures. And this entailed producing normals along this geometry. So for instance, we would have an outward facing plane line normal on this side of the geometry running cylindrically over the object and pointing the other way in the other side. There was a section of the video where I forgot to add audio, so I had many explanations involving this texture you'll see in the upper right corner. But the upshot of it is that we're planning to create a texture something like this. And this is, while it looks visual, this is actually a data texture. So the whole purpose of it is that it's used as input to another effect. In this case, the normals are encoded into the texture. I have, as I might have gotten across, depending on when the volume muted on the last stream, I am currently doing this with a bunch of per tile textures. And you can probably see how this image up here can be broken up into 16 tiles with a gap in the corner. And the tiles themselves will match the non-white parts of this. So while it's not the actual effect you'll ultimately see, the normals are all in the right place. So there's normals and also the parameter, the curve parameter will be encoded in these textures as well. So there's 3 parameters I'm trying to squeeze in there. And while I'm planning to go on to the procedural geometry itself, I don't know if I'll have time for that tonight. I've only got probably until the end of the hour. But I did mention that this is not necessarily the only effect we can do. This is just one I've been using to demonstrate. So what I was thinking of doing instead is taking the code I have for some of those other shaders I mentioned last time and trying to introduce them back into my tests. I showed in the last episode that I've got a few test parameters. I'll try to add one for the effect. So the effect we have right now, it's just a normal, a light, and a color. So I called it plastic, and I guess that might not be the most apt name, but it'd be something like shaded, basic shading, maybe. The other ones I have were wood and metal. I've got others too, but those are the ones that, well, I mean, I have other shaders in general, but these are the 2 that I have in use as tile sets. I think that no. I'll drag in the one I have here for wood. I sort of looked this over. I think this is the effect I'm showing now. So somewhere around here would be appropriate. Temporarily commented out. Oh, and I have these equal signs between my brackets because there are also brackets in the shader code itself. And this sort of ending comment style lets you uncomment the whole thing in one go. Okay, so that's wood. And I don't think I'll be doing anything with this tonight, but there's this seamless evaluate and combine. This comes from, or rather, you can see some examples of what this is doing on Paul Bork's page. I'll post a link in a moment. Basically, this is for stitching together geometry that comes together four corners, or alternatively two abutting one another, and it'll blend them together. So I was using this to merge the tiles because it wasn't always, when I was doing individual images, they don't necessarily filter well at the edges, so I do sort of sand down the differences that would show up. I don't know if that'll be necessary if this is all in mesh. There's some other issues once it's in use, because they might not mix it. They won't, in general, mix and match where they came from in the texture, so I might have to encode something for that. But for the texture itself, I think the seams might go away if they're all coming from one big mesh. So that was wood. It's called tree here in the file I'm taking it from. The other one here is metal. This one's more complex, but it also has some things that I don't think will play a part here. This one is cobbled together from some NVIDIA code. This also has some parameters that you would provide from the outside. I might see if I can avoid those. Okay, has some requires. Add these here. I don't know if I'll need all of these because as I said, I'll be stripping these down a bit. I think Texels is where I'm getting the seamless combines. Yeah, it looks like it. So I'll respectively eliminate those. And that way I can just dispense with this. IQ is named after Inigo Quiles. He's a shader developer. Let me see if I can pull up that image too. This is the fellow who isn't heavily involved in shader toy. He's one of the developers, but he has a page of his own as well. So some of these come from the things in this module come from there. Includer is something that I believe it's fairly stable now, but it's sort of like a require mechanism for shaders. And I have examples of if you use its augment kernels function, then you can require previously defined snippets, and they'll get stitched together where exported names are found, like unit pair here, or the seamless evaluate and combine macro. Some others, or the IQ function, like the M4, both down there. And unit pair, that's what this unit exclusive exports. This is something I addressed. Well, I didn't address. I mentioned in the last stream. There's another way of crunching numbers down. Which if we have time, maybe I'll go into it, because I have it up here now. I might as well use it. Yeah. Okay. So IQ brings in both IQ noise and fractional Brownian motion. So we'll leave that as is, and make sure. I don't know if you can hear the meowing. My cat will possibly chime in if the noise isn't suppressed. And so it's still working. Now, where I am hoping, as I said, to get this. Okay, basically. So, where I'm hoping to get this slotted in is up above. I think these will all be time dependent, so I'll leave that in place. The normals, these are what we're getting from in our fragment shader. So the UV, because of the way I'm writing my mesh generators, the UVs are getting passed in the normals and or the knots. So this value will be a normal between 0 and 1. If so if we passed in knots, or I mean if we passed in knots, there will be some logic here that will move the knot into another input that gets fed into the fragment. So we'll extract it from where it is in the y coordinate and pass it in here. That's not the color, I should say. That would be the normal way to do it. And that's when and then we draw it. I'm confusing myself here. Oh, right. I haven't written one that uses both pieces of information. So I don't know if, we'll see if I can get to that tonight. I don't know if I will. Maybe I'll just use normals for now. But the normals will come in through the UVs. So we'll put them in X and Y at first of a normal, of a three coordinate value. Then, assuming they're less than or equal to 1 in length, the z value will be the rest. And so altogether, they'll have length 1, this 3 coordinate vector. So at that point, we have a normal pointing somewhere. This part with P is moving the point around, which is more or less how we decide that there's a light there. It's I suppose it's more of a camera, but and then it's looking down at whatever the current pixel is. So we get a direction from that, and based on the normal, we decide how much light there is reflecting from the surface. In this case, we incorporate some ambient light and combine it with the diffuse coefficient. To see how much remains. So some of this, maybe even all of this, we might want to keep. In which case, we would want this part to be variable. So I'm thinking we have the default effect, then we will have like this. And these have a kind of strange formatting because I want everything to line up all pretty. So rather than I don't know if I want to append this. I think I'll append it. No, I don't want to append it because I've got this brace here. I'll substitute it in. And I'll elide the semicolon there so that it enforces it at the end. No, whoops. Let's see if that works. Okay, so far so good. And wood probably won't be so difficult, but metal is a little weird because only part of the effect is in fragment kernel, and a lot of it goes before. Some of this we should be able to omit because, as I said, we're doing this from a mesh where all the normal is already calculated for us beforehand. So we wouldn't really be doing what I was doing in the other case where I was using noise to generate it and then build the normal on the fly. But still, some of this does fall outside. Let's try wood. The wood and wood and the wood. Stop it open. The wood comes from a shader toy example. See if I. There's the link. And so just realized that if I'm going to be augmenting this, then I'm going to be surrounding fragment kernel anyway. So the way I've done it up here, not actually. What I bet I'm trying to think how I would best generalize this, because I don't think subbing the effect in like that will make sense if this way is. No, it won't. Well, for now, I'll just do it the brute force way. So, yep. I'll make this the fallback. Well, this is just to ensure that I don't make some spelling mistake. So this will be the else case. And I'll pull these up here. Metal, wood, or basic shading. So that's basic shading now. And ensure it still works. Okay. Now let's try wood. So I'll just bring it up as is for the moment. And as I said, I'm going to dispense with this, but I'll keep fractional Brownian motion in there. We have it included. Here's the macro to twist it into use. this is calling it 4 times with different UV coordinates that have been swapped horizontally, swapped vertically, and then kitty corner. But I'll where do I have it? Oh yeah, so not quite sure how I'll incorporate the normal in this one. I guess if nothing else, I can actually, let's see how. See how this looks. Whoa. Let's see. I'm missing a closed bracket. 186. Is that what it said? Okay, 111. Oh, so it was there. What did I've forgotten something. It's like closing this and not closing that. No, because I didn't copy that. Okay. So I usually don't. I mean, I usually use this syntax. I don't know why. I just decided to change it there. Okay, so let's try subbing this in. One, two. No values for wood. Got our kit. Oh, so I got three. I have one here, one here. One, one, two. Oh, I'm still doing it there. And okay, I copy pasted this, but I didn't bring in the values that go with it. Well, it shouldn't be white. Oh, right. That's why. Okay. This is why I had that parentheses, because this can output to the kernel, and I didn't copy paste that. And now it's actually giving me an error, so it doesn't see vpause, and that's because I didn't because I need that as well from this part here, where I'm bringing in the this is why I was trying to merge it all into one shader so that I wouldn't have these complications, but there you go. So yeah, this is wood, but it's very flat. There's probably a way to better incorporate the normal. I'm going to just try the normal itself. That follows the shape. Doesn't, but it doesn't move with the time. And this is where you can really get into just dabbling and mucking about. Oh. Did I do that? I did. Wow. Okay, so this will be one-dimensional. I can just combine it with something else. That's some crazy wood. It's even crazier. Maybe randomize this slightly. Really random. I'm trying to shoehorn it into what it already was, what it already is, but maybe if I didn't. Well, let's see if I just use the dot product itself, maybe it'll give me something interesting. I don't know. That's something. It's not what I was going for. Anyway, all of this is, none of this is really germane to what I'm ultimately doing. I will probably try later to refine this, maybe even offline. Let's try metal instead. we've already done that step we missed last time, and I don't think I'm going to use this yet. So probably I'll just skip this for now, and then this is the light direction. So let's see where maybe something fixed. I don't know. Let's take 0.2. We'll see if this is anything useful. And we don't need. We already have our normal, so we can skip all of this, I believe. Actually, what it's called. Okay, so we're not going to call get height deltas. Which is here, so we don't need this. And as I think I said, this is all coupled together from some NVIDIA shaders. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. I have what I need there. Yeah, first compile still. Okay, it does. Let's try it with metal. Oh, that's something. It's I think one of these is supposed to be position. Oh, it's probably what end is. Yeah, that's where the light tour is coming from. Okay. So maybe if I copy this over, use that as the light tour. And it's already normalized. Yeah, I got an error. No, I haven't been. No, I think it's the same thing. I haven't been in this code view for a while. Arg. Well, I'm doing this all on one monitor and everything. The view keeps disappearing beneath me. I think what I did, I forgot the. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know the format stuff, so I'll drag in these again. Okay, and I'm getting the vpositor again, so I forgot that once more. That just means I have to once again bring in the stuff to which is just prepending this line. And there we go. It's a very bright. I think we want to. I think this other direction is wrong. Well, maybe it's not. I don't know. So, okay. The light direction view normal. I think it's view. Half normal, an approximation of the normal in between. So light vector. And this should just pulled out of nowhere, right? We don't have enough textures to pass in the cube map at the moment. No, we don't have FVM. I don't think I'm using that though. So face, lower that. Oh, I've forgotten which ones of these will make it look more metallic. I probably want this somewhere else. Maybe it'll, because I'm thinking this will, if it's the display content center, so it's pointing straight down, but a little off to the side, and it might not be where I want it. And lower it. Doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Just dispense with that. Not a whole lot. Oh, wait, no. That's not even the right. That's not metal. Okay, I was editing the wood shader. Quite easy to confuse yourself if these are all mashed together. Okay, that's with the point a little lower, so the light direction won't be so. There will be more effects from small movements. Yeah, for metal, you generally want to keep the color close to gray, but it can be fun to experiment. Maybe I don't know if that affects a whole lot. I forgot if I don't want a half arc. Maybe I'll change it up. You can see the hot specular where it hits. The light. That's a tint to the light instead of just pure white. It's a light yellowish. I might have to play with this a bit to see if I can find a good spot for the how to bring out the metallic nature. I've gotten some nice effects, but I don't know quite where everything was. If I can. There's no method to this. I'm just throwing things out there. The environment is supposed to be what's around the metal. You would usually provide a texture of some sort that whatever direction you were pointing in, you would look up and what it pointed into. But since I'm in 2D and I don't have all of that there, it's just something made up. That's one. That's appropriate. Well, anyway, I might putz around with these a little bit more, but I got them in there in some form, and that's more than I expected to do in this amount of time. Next time I'll probably start a little bit earlier and actually go into the procedural geometry. On that note, I think I'm gonna stop for now. So I'll see you all later.